once they got up the steps and like they started retreating, I mean, they were done. Because they were lost, they were overwhelmed, and you could see them looking at each other like, oh shit. And if I may, just because you might appreciate this, imagine back, way back to a parking lot of a record store that was entertaining a band come to town. This band was a band renowned amongst a community who liked to be rambunctious, who encouraged partying, who maybe even didn't like the law. And so this band came to our humble record store, and you and I were charged with somehow keeping an order of this unruly, unfit, dirty mess of people. So we stayed on the inside.
Oh, man.
And we locked the doors.
And right? People were banging on the freaking doors.
That's what I'm saying. And so, and at one point, our supervisor decides that, hey, we need to go out there and calm these folks down. and you and I go, well, maybe not a good idea. Right?
Yeah, probably not a good idea to open that door for any reason at all.
This is a big double door, of like a strip mall kind of building.
Yes. That door comes open, people come flooding in.
And I would say there's at least 100 people out there.
Oh, if not more. Because, I mean, if you're watching this, think of it as a strip mall, like your normal strip mall, and these are big double doors. And this store we were in, the footprint was the entire block. So it probably went 40 feet to the right to the end and 40 feet to the left, to the right to the left. And there was people lined up on both sides. So, and they were at least 2 deep.
And I would say, I think it's a lot wider than 40 feet. I mean,
it might have been maybe 40 yards. There were at least 2 deep and 3 deep in some areas.
Oh,
I'm going to go out on a limb and say there was more than 100 people.
Yeah, and there were more than 2 or 3 deep. There was just the whole parking lot was just the people. We had a neat little cone system had been set up, but it got squished.
Oh yeah.
You saw some cones getting like tossed, in the crowd. And again, these folks were ready for a party, and their favorite band, Slayer, had shown up.
And thank God that glass was as strong as it was.
Right, until he said, "No, let me out there. I'm gonna go take care of it."
Yeah.
And we're like, "All right, man." We let him out there.
Yeah.
And then closed the door behind him.
Yeah.
Again.
Locked it.
And he was just up against the glass. And there's just all these dirty people rocking out.
They sure were. The funny thing about that, to bring a little bit of levity to it, those dudes were actually cool. When the people were banging on the door, remember that? They were like, this is some shit, isn't it? And I'm like, yes, it is.
Oh, dude, I don't think they realized quite.
They were having a good time.
Right there, man.
Yeah, they were having a good time, like just kind of watching it. Like, they're like, wow, these people are really doing this for us. And we're like, yeah. And it was just kind of cool hanging out with them. Like, never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be hanging out with that band while 300 of their supporters are literally trying to break a door down to get to them. And you and I are standing between the door and this band. And that's it. And they were actually cool. Like, I thought they were going to be like D-bags.
No, they were just drinking beers and
yeah, dude. They were just kind of like, this is kind of cool. They were, yeah. I was like, okay.
I mean, the cops showed up, and then like a few more cops showed up, and they were like, wow, this is maybe a thing. And then this was, I think, before the days of tasers. You know what I mean?
No. tasers were around, because remember old boy we worked with got his taser taken from him and used on him.
So, you know, if you're going to carry that kind of thing, you know, you got to. That's part of the danger.
That was hilarious.
See, because that is a thing, you know. I mean, if you're going to step it up, you know, to that level, like, you know, when then anybody that you're coming across sees that too, and then their response is going to be stepped up to that level.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, hey, you know, empty-handed and talking, then
like Mr. Want to buy a watch?
you know, and so I mean, it didn't work all the time.